Professional sports have been a part of the fabric of the United States for over a century. This has formed unbreakable bonds between sports teams and the cities they inhabit. So much so that if you go to a town with a team and ask someone what their favorite memory is, they're likely to mention a moment from that team that they hold so dear. But is the business of sports as beneficial to a municipality and its residents as it claims to be? Is it even enough to pay back the money for that stadium that locals paid for? Next on Free Cash Flow. Stadiums have been at the center of this discussion and tend to be the most polarizing topic when it comes to sports teams. As recently as 2024, multiple stadium and arena controversies have been in the spotlight. Take the land, Cleveland, Ohio, for instance. Home to the Browns since 1946, the team has played all of its home games on the edge of Lake Erie. The current owners have offered an alternative to this tradition, proposing a move to a west side suburb of Cleveland closer to the city's international airport. Why is the proposal of a multi-billion-dollar facility, development, and relatively easy access such a big deal? Well, first, the city seems to be quite attached to the quote-unquote mistake on the lake. Second, many believe that the proposal itself is a negotiation tactic to squeeze more stimulus out of the city of Cleveland. When cities give out handouts to teams to build these projects, it typically comes in one of two forms. First is a direct subsidy. Cities offer a percentage of their revenue for the construction, maintenance, and renovation of a stadium or arena. The second is tax breaks. This over time would end up saving an organization as much as a subsidy would, but allows municipalities with limited cash to play ball, pun intended. These subsidies can end up being worth billions of dollars for a single project. That's money that could be allocated to schools and other public services. And in the case of the city of Cleveland, the public schools are in dire need of help. But what about the economic impact of these teams? Though some may make the case that having the latest new stadium facility may attract acts that normally may not come to that locale, most major proponents argue that much of the return on investment come from the economic impact of the professional sports organization's presence in the region. Figures and estimates vary based on the city and the sport in which the stadium facility is supporting. It's hard to get an actual number, but the general idea is that sporting events bring people not only to the stadium but to pubs, restaurants, and other venues in the area. This benefits local businesses while also increasing sales tax revenue for the municipality. In the case of the Washington Wizards' proposed move out of the District of Columbia to neighboring Alexandria, Virginia, that revenue opportunity is exactly what proponents of the now dead arena deal were hoping for. Potomac Yards, a rare area that is ripe for large-scale development, is situated near a newly built metro station in the ancient American city. The city and the governor hope that this could land the professional sports team and an influx of capital, as the city has relied on a now cooling real estate market for most of its revenues. And the state is looking for new partners to keep a competitive advantage over its neighbors in Washington, D.C. and Maryland. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin expressed his disdain for the decision of the State House to kill the project, stating, "This should have been our deal and our opportunity. All the General Assembly had to do was say, thank you, Monumental, for wanting to come into Virginia and create $12 billion of economic investment. Let's work this out." He continues, "But no, personal and political agendas drove away the deal with no upfront general fund money and no tax increases that created tens of thousands of new jobs and billions in revenue for Virginia." Critics of stadium deals contest this general sentiment. They believe that the only thing that they do is make things inconvenient for residents and cost municipalities money. It is also believed that tax revenues are not a net gain. The argument is that money that would be spent from people going to games would just be spent on other activities in that municipality anyway. Either way, it'll be an argument that persists as long as teams are getting more valuable and the projects are getting bigger. My thoughts on situations like the one above vary. I think that it's a big ask to spring the cost of a multi-billion-dollar project onto certain cities, more specifically the small to mid-sized cities that host a team. But I think that for some cities, the juice is worth the squeeze. Take the Browns, for example. They play in Cleveland, a charming mid-sized city with great active and affluent suburbs and a downtown area that has struggled to grow, though it's done a great job as of late. Teams in the downtown area may encourage other businesses to be there, encourage an ecosystem of bars and restaurants and other facilities, and, most importantly, help to encourage people that want walkability to live there. This could be a valuable anchor for a city. Like most things, I don't find it to be black and white, but I do think to have success, both sides must bring something to the table. That way, we can all continue to enjoy our favorite pastimes in the cities we love. That was my thoughts on sports teams and their municipalities when it comes to stadiums. I think we got more fun stuff coming. This has been another installment of Free Cash Flow.